Bring you the hard-hitting news the only way teachers can. We are one chapter ahead of you, and if you ask us a question, we'll tell you to look it up for extra credit. Check your Google Classrooms because you're about to be schooled. This is Dodger After Dark.
Welcome to Dodger After Dark. I'm Jeff Coviello. It's a scary time in our nation's history, but if I know anything about America, it's that when an invisible virus that nobody knows anything about or how to properly combat it attacks, we do what we do best. Take to social media and proclaim yourself a medical expert, or dance and lip sync awkwardly for 3 to 15 second increments. Which brings us to the bite. As America continues to practice social distancing, the curve does not appear to be flattening enough for President Trump's liking. Early quotes from President Trump called for America to open again for Easter. The apprentice team of Mike Pence, Dr. Fauci, and Inspector General Glenn Fine appeared to fail at their first attempt at America, the Apprentice, which promptly cost Glenn Fine his job.
You're fired. 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 You're fired.
The numbers of infected are highest in New York. Governor Andrew Cuomo has been praised for his approach in combating the pandemic. Even his own brother Chris, a CNN anchor, has been infected. The two continue to take part in meaningful conversation each night on the younger Cuomo's evening program.
Called Stay Home, and who are you staying home for? It's a good idea. It's a good way to connect the personal commitment of what they're doing. My decision is, and as I posted today very early before anybody else responded to the call that you put out, I'm staying home for my mother because I love her, and at her age, she's uniquely vulnerable to the virus, and that's why making the move out of the house that Christina and I made was 100% our own, and we did it early. Who are you staying home for? Because I'm staying home for my mom.
Yeah, the whole campaign is dedicated to my mother. And I said that first thing this morning when I posted my picture.
I didn't hear you say anything.
Who are you staying at home for? Yeah,
right.
My mother. My mother. My mother. I'm staying home for my mother.
Oh, you're staying at home for your mom too. Isn't it weird though after I just said it?
No, I went first. I had my picture at my press conference saying I'm doing it for my mother. And yes, because it's a point that I want people to understand. If you don't want to stay home for yourself,
mom right now.
Then, yeah, well, I had my picture this morning while you were still sleeping, and I showed it at my press conference. And people have to understand, you want to be reckless with your own life, don't endanger others. And that's what the Stay at Home For campaign is all about.
Beautiful.
Don't endanger healthcare workers, don't endanger vulnerable people.
I love it. And
she was my
the
mother
people
first,
who are
by
saving
the
our
way.
lives. That is true. That when you win that point, 100%. You were born first.
Meanwhile, in our own state of New Jersey, Governor Murphy has closed schools indefinitely and most recently announced the closure of all state and county parks. So that means that all people of New Jersey must stay behind closed doors in order to flatten the curve. Unless, of course, you want to visit Dunkin' Donuts, 7-Eleven, Wawa, Quick Check, Liquor Store, Jiffy Lube, or your local bike repair shop. So, people of New Jersey, while you couldn't celebrate Easter or Passover with your family, remember that you can grab a cup of coffee, a Slurpee, a tank of gas, a Slim Jim, a quick oil change, or a little bell for your bicycle. Stay healthy, stay happy, just stay away from each other. This has been The Bite. Joe?
Thanks, Jeff. According to experts, you should spend no more than 2 hours a day watching TV or on the computer. The coronavirus quarantine has taken those screen time recommendations and thrown them out the window. Between Zoom and Netflix, screen time has gone from sin to savior. One of the things that has us glued to our screens is Netflix's Tiger King. The 7-part documentary follows the curious life of Joe Exotic and other hapless zoo owners. The documentary has been likened to that of a car accident. You know it's horrible, but you just can't seem to pull yourself away. Joe Exotic is basically a walking, talking libertarian meme. He owned and operated the GW Zoo and had his own internet TV show in Oklahoma. How empty does one man's life need to be to start their own internet TV show? The documentary doesn't really have a character with any redeeming qualities, unless, of course, you count the tigers. All the people are awful. Perhaps no one worse than Joe Exotic's arch nemesis, Carol Baskin. She acts as though somehow what she is doing is different from Joe Exotic and the other zoo owners. Yet Carol and her husband are basically as likable as a union between Hillary Clinton and Mitch McConnell. That being said, if you're looking for a way to stay entertained for 7 hours of quarantine, and you want to be reminded that your life just isn't that bad, Tiger King is for you. You too can join the millions of Americans who are now convinced that Carol Baskin fed her husband to the tigers. In other news, Stanford scientists have developed a smart toilet technology that analyzes a person's urine and stool samples for disease markers. As if you didn't have enough anxiety already about going to the bathroom after Taco Tuesday. And finally, Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2020. When asked for comment, frontrunner Joe Biden asked, "Who?" Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Joe. Like all good news informative programs, we seek to bring you the most up-to-date information as possible. Our next segment is weather, with not meteorologist Chris Monaco. Chris?
Weather watcher, what do you see? What do you see? Tell us what the weather's like, won't you please? Won't you please?
Hi, I'm Chris Monaco, and I'm the weather watcher. I don't forecast the weather, I watch it. Outside right now, it's nice, so that's what I dress for. Unlike being in school, I know what the temperature is going to be in my house every single day. When I'm at work, C28's like the desert. The library, the Arctic. I don't understand how one school could have so many different climates. April started since we've been gone, and let me tell you about April weather. You never know what you're going to get. Yesterday, it actually snowed. The day before, it was 68 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. By the time I went for my afternoon walk, I had to put on a winter jacket. Breaking news from the Madison Public School System. They've just announced that there will be air conditioning in almost all of the classrooms come June. Not the classrooms at Madison High School or Central Ave or Torrey J or Kings Road. Nope, the classrooms in your house right now. Those are the air conditioning classrooms. This was their plan all along, to provide AC without actually having to provide it. Back to you, Jeff and Joe.
And now, our foreign correspondent, Stephen Bernich, coming to us all the way from Chatham, New Jersey, brings us a little something to look forward to as the weather starts to warm.
Hello, Madison. I'm Steve Bernich, your foreign correspondent in Chatham for Dodger After Dark, giving you the news that Madison is sure to follow. Recently, to show its superiority and to counter the outcry of overstressed parents attempting to placate their children with what's trending on Pinterest and Etsy boards, the Chatham Town Council has elected to open the Chatham pools early. With an influx of funding, all the pools are now heated and are seen as the perfect antidote to COVID-19. So, I thought we'd go and investigate and prove how the divided Chatham pool system is superior to one unifying community-based pool. So let's go have a look. It seems that the affordable Noe Pond Pool Club is still closed due to coronavirus outbreak. Clearly, they're just taking a few extra days to implement what is widely known as the Tantamount Pool experience in Chatham, with beautiful white sand beaches and slightly chlorinated water that still allow the fish to live. Let's try somewhere else.
It would seem that the Colony Pool Club is closed as well. Let's see if we can find someone. Hello? Anybody there? I'm thinking maybe it's the township pools are closed. We'll try the borough next. Okay, well, the Fish and Game Club is obviously closed as well. Clearly taking their time to implement proper heating and make it an acceptable environment during the COVID-19 crisis. Anytime now. We're waiting. Wow, even Minnesink is closed. Is it possible that Chatham is suffering from the coronavirus just like everybody else? It seems unthinkable. I guess we better go see what's going on at Madison Community Pool.
Thanks for that. It's now my pleasure to bring you the musical stylings of Russ Batch and the Batch Family Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing the Batch Bunch back hardcore with everyone's favorite Uptown Funk.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Like a dragon, wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, oh! Wait a minute.
Let's throw it quickly to Kevin Lynott with sports.
All sports are cancelled.
And now for a segment I like to call Better Know a Dodger, where we catch up with one of our Dodgers at home. Despite all the uncertainty, the coronavirus has brought out the best in many Americans, including Madison High School's very own Gina McGuire. Gina is the co-founder of FLAG, which stands for... Should have wrote that down. Please join me in welcoming Gina McGuire. Good morning. Welcome, Gina McGuire.
Hello, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you for being with us this morning.
Of course. Where else would I rather be?
So, Gina, while the rest of us have been binging Tiger King, you have been making a difference in our community. So for everyone else out there that doesn't understand how acronyms work, can you tell us a little bit about FLAG and what inspired you to get involved?
Sure. P.S. I also fit the time in to watch Tiger King. Amazing. So Mr. Bernich's wife, Mrs. Bernich, and I started FLAG, which stands for Frontline Appreciation Group. very simple premise of trying to keep our small businesses in business, our local restaurants, and at the same time feeding our hospital, healthcare, frontline workers who are out there kind of, still doing their job and fighting this virus, and trying to do like a good thing all around to help as many people as possible.
That's amazing. Very inspiring. Is there any way the rest of us can get involved?
Of course. So mostly we started off just asking the community to donate to our group, and with those donations we then in turn buy the meals from the restaurant and get them up to the workers. So many different offshoot things have happened since we started our group. There's a whole sort of subgroup of people hand sewing masks, which is amazing. There are people who are making these fuel boxes, which are really cool. They're basically anything. It could be a to-go container or even like a brown paper lunch bag. Doesn't have to be fancy. And people are filling them with things like a mini water, a clementine, a Hershey bar, something like that. Decorating the outside, like, we appreciate you, thank you for what you're doing, those kind of messages. And I mean, we drop them off at the EMS, we take them to the police, the fire. They're just, these people are so appreciative of any little thing. I think really just that we're noticing and putting the effort out there to say thank you goes such a long, long way. So if any students wanted to get involved, they should reach out to me. I'm happy to get them going. And it also, in addition to helping the restaurants and the healthcare frontline workers, it does help to make people feel better if they are helping in some way. And a lot of people are kind of like, I wish I could do something. This kind of also provides a platform for that.
That's really incredible. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you for all you're doing. I would like to publicly say that I think the teachers are amazing, and I totally consider you guys frontline. What you guys are doing is incredible, and you're doing it well, and thank you.
Thank you for that. I don't see that we're quite on the level of the heroes who are out there in the hospitals and first responders, but thank you.
You're up there. You're up there.
All right, now we get a little bit tougher. So for everyone that knows you, we all know that you're super mom. You raised 3 great boys, you have an awesome dog, and you managed to remain cool despite being married to a cop. So considering the amount of testosterone,
a lot of mistruths in there. Go on.
Considering the amount of testosterone in your house,
yes.
How are you surviving quarantine?
Well, yesterday, me and the 3 boys played a game in the street we wound up calling Awful Ball because it was neither here nor there of pickleball. It wasn't quite that pro Kadima you see on the beach. It was horrible form and technique. We had a blast, so we played Awful Ball. As I said, did a little Tiger King. We watched All American. That was one we watched as a family. And then my husband and I have been very committed to teaching the boys life skills while we're home. So for me, that means teaching them to do their own laundry, wash their own dishes. And for Brian, that means teaching them how to play poker. So we've had a lot of poker games happening.
It's very important.
I mean, it's a fun rowdy house, and we're luckily still like each other so far. We'll see what this week brings, but so far so good.
All right, last question.
Oh gosh.
As a mother, we know you're never supposed to reveal which of your sons is your favorite, although we're all pretty sure it's Luke. But as...
Yes! You've insulted someone off camera. Nice job.
But as Secretary of MHS,
yes,
who would you say is your favorite teacher?
Oof.
There's only one right answer here, by the way.
I think we're breaking up that Zoom. You know I can't answer who my favorite teacher is. You're all my favorites.
It's
You're
not
all my
true.
favorites.
Just me.
Yes, Michael,
Just me.
all of you are my favorites too. You've really got me in a pickle here at home.
I'm glad to make quarantine just a little bit more interesting.
A little bit more stressful. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Gina McGuire is doing amazing things while stuck at home. You can help her and watch this interview and reach out to Mrs. McGuire with any questions that you might have. Gina, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Have a great rest
safe,
of the day.
Everybody. Miss you.
Thank you.
Bye.
A lot of you have been concerned about the yearbook, so we thought it would be a great idea to take a behind-the-scenes look. Let's check in with Ms. Bratton and the yearbook.
Action.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
And now, a guided meditation. Tips to stay calm during quarantine. With our own student assistance counselor, Vanessa Morgenthaler.
Hi everybody, Miss Morgenthaler here. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of incorporating meditation into your daily routine. It's a great way to reduce stress. The first thing you want to do is try and find a quiet place in your house. When you're there, assume a comfortable position and try and relax all of the muscles in your body one by one. You're going to take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. You might notice some thoughts come and go, and that's okay, just don't let them take over. You ready? Here we go. I feel very relaxed.
And the pee-pee on potty.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Dodger After Dark. Don't worry, we pre-recorded it, so we don't have to worry about you logging in 20 minutes late to your Zoom session. I'm Jeff Coviello.
This is Joe Cecala, reminding you to wash your hands, stop touching your face, and please stay off MRC. Have a good night, Madison.